John Gallagher, Manhattan basketball coach, joins us on 365 Sports. John, thanks for your time. It is a huge basketball coach fraternity party in San Antonio. Hope you're enjoying the state of Texas. We appreciate your time. This has been chock from almost the opening tip, the first day of the tournament. Your thoughts about where we are right now with these four?
So these four have the best budgets for NIL, and they have the best coaches, and they've managed the program the best way. So, Smokey, this is a Final Four that is chalk because great management, but most importantly, these four coaches understand how to win in this climate of college basketball better than anyone else.
Houston and Duke is a really interesting game because they're different styles, but they're both just so lethal on defense. And Houston's the best defensive team. Duke's got the most efficient, best offense in the country. How do you see this game stylistically playing out?
A total brawl. This will be it'll be interesting to see if the winner of this game can win it on 48 hours notice, if they're worn out. So the winner of this game is going to be, in my opinion, going to have a more challenge because the physicality in both of these teams is insane. It's just insane. So you're going to see they guard without fouling, and they foul every play. So it's hard. I know it's they foul a lot, but they don't get called for it because they're so physical every play. Both of them. So I think the winner of this game may have trouble winning Monday night, if you know what I'm saying, because they're going to get hit on the gasoline tank harder than the other game.
So how much, John, as a coach, if you're going against one of these styles that you just described with those two, how much does that wear out a team? Is it more physical or mental?
Well, first off, I think there's a majority of us that are rooting for Kelvin just because what he's done for our business. Then there's a majority of people that love Duke. So you have that, coaches in general want the oldest tenured guy that hasn't won it just because we understand how hard it is to get here. But, John Shire, you could argue, he's one of the few coaches in the world that's taken over for a legend and hasn't missed a beat. So it's a fascinating matchup that I got to tell you that it'll be probably one of the most watched games and Final Fours of all time.
Is Duke more likable with John Shire and this team that they have specifically this year? Because obviously a lot of people hate teams that win. Sometimes they just hate Duke, or they didn't like Coach K or whatever. Is it a more likable Duke right now?
Well, I think Coach K had to build it up from beating North Carolina, right, out of the shadows of North Carolina. So now you got to look at it, and I'm just telling you, is it more likable? Well, the kid Flagg is so good, and he's so watched, and he's so covered. Realistically, he's one of the best players I've ever seen in college in the last 20 years. Look, my Hartford team played Zion, and I think this is a way more – this kid he's just unbelievable.
We had golly, I forgot who it was. Oh, Reed Geddes, who was a guard for Houston back during Phi Slamma Jamma. We were trying to figure out who he reminds people of, and, of course, he was joking around that he immediately brought up, all the great white players. Is there anybody in particular that he reminds you of, maybe is good, doesn't have to be better or what, but some of the style of a player, no matter who it might be?
LeBron. Not as physical as LeBron, but the passing, the scoring. Go look at LeBron as a rookie year in the league. Look, this is as good as a college player as we'll ever see. And I think we have a chance to see a lot of that because the money's real now in our business and it's legal. And, you got to give got to give Duke credit. They signed him. I thought he would. I thought UConn had won back-to-back titles. He's right up there in Maine. I think it came down to Duke and UConn. If UConn got him, UConn would be in this game for a third straight time.
Okay. John Gallagher, Manhattan men's basketball coach with us, a great friend of the show for the last 5 years with us on 365 Sports.
What does the familiarity between Auburn and Florida mean for this game on Sunday?
To be your best requires commitment, dedication, and intensity. It's what defines elite athletes and inspires Airwaav to find new ways to optimize your performance. Introducing Airwaav Recovery, a mouthpiece designed to work while you sleep to further unlock your potential. Airwaav Recovery features our patented reflex technology, small, integrated bumps uniquely positioned to activate your tongue's natural response. Your tongue will instinctively move forward, opening your airway and improving your quality of sleep. And thanks to our patented fitting material and a purpose-designed support wall, you'll enjoy a secure, comfortable fit all night long. With Airwaav Recovery, you sleep better and recharge faster. Airwaav Recovery, recharge your potential.
This is like two brothers playing against each other, and they know each other better than anybody. So it's a problem. It's a problem because both teams, this could end up being a low-scoring game because they know each other so well. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have two teams that know everything each other does, know each other, how they play, and how they breathe.
The fact that they've played before, Auburn got, Florida smoked them earlier this year in Auburn. And does that matter at all, several weeks later?
You broke up. Say it again.
Florida smoked Auburn earlier this year. Does that matter a few weeks later, or does that just you at least go and learn a little bit from what happened that game?
You know what? I think it helps the team that got blown out because they have an edge to them. Anytime you look, Auburn, Bruce Pearl, no one has done better in the modern era, the system, than Bruce. All right? I mean, he kind of created this market. I mean, the guy is a genius. So I think you got to give him tons of credit. His team will be ready to play. And then Todd, I've known him a long time. Right? He's a St. Mary's, Randy Bennett, that whole 38. They do the nerd ball where they calculate every play, and you got to give them credit. You know, at the end of the day, I got done studying about 2010, 15 years ago. I was in the Australian Institute of Sport, and this was the thing that they created at St. Mary's. And the head national coach of the Australian team, Adam Capehorn, said to me, "This is what we do." And I thought to myself, I'm from Philly. This isn't a math class, fellas. This is basketball. So I give them credit. They play that way, and their teams have a great. Todd's done an unbelievable job. So it's a fascinating matchup. Both games are so intriguing to me from a basketball standpoint. All four chalks, all four teams well coached. All four have, and it's going to come down to really two things. And you're going to circle this: the turnovers. Okay, who turns it over for the live ball turnovers, and then the offensive glass. Who's getting extra possessions on the glass? And if you study both games, you'll see it.
What do you mean by nerve ball? Was that the phrase?
Nerd ball.
No, nerve. What do you mean by that? For those, I didn't know what that meant.
So they do 38 things where they calculate like tip backs, how a team huddles, diving on the floor for loose balls, charges, the Gretzky assist where you pass it one more, and they chart it every day in practice. And it was originated, it's really interesting. So Bob Walsh, who's the assistant coach for Rick Pitino and St. John's, Bob Walsh started it with Kyle Smith, who's the head coach at Stanford, in the 90s for Brad Holland at San Diego. And not many people know that. Now, this is where you get into basketball aficionado and studying it. Brad Holland said, we have to do things differently than everybody in the WCC. So they started nerd ball, and that's how this started. So Bob Walsh and Kyle Smith are the originators after practice in San Diego, which is a fascinating thing that not many people know.
Great stuff. John Gallagher with us from San Antonio, the men's Final Four, joining us on 365 Sports.
John, Buzz Williams went to take the Maryland job. He left Texas A&M behind. A&M has all the money in the world. They have everything you'd need. I mean, it is if it's a football-first school, and every school in Texas is going to be. But what is there trepidation among basketball coaches about going to a school that has been so much more football forward than basketball, even though they seem to be supporting it, bringing in guys like Buzz Williams and Billy Kennedy and the coaches they've had there shows that they care, but they can't keep anybody at A&M for a long time.
So here's the deal. It's so funny. This is a hysterical story. I got on the elevator as I pulled in here, and guess who was in I couldn't put the name to the face. So I said, hey, John Gallagher, Manhattan. He said, Jimbo Fisher, football.
No kidding.
So Jimbo Fisher's down here. So he actually said to me, hey, how about Buzz? I said, so interesting. You know, I think Buzz and a lot of coaches, just the reality of where we are in our business. You got a 5-6 year run at a place, and the message boards, your wife in the town, whatever it is, could be anything. Lon Kruger had it down to a science. Just out 6 of the year, 6. And I think that's where college coaches unfortunately are. And I think because of the business, guys are getting fired quick now. Imagine the University of Pennsylvania firing a legendary coach, okay, in the NIL era and paying him 4 years of a contract. Wouldn't happen. But we're in a different business. So I think guys are more, I wouldn't say paranoid, but more apt to just take a long runway, if you know what I'm saying.
Other than the games being played on Saturday evening and night, and whoever's going to get, do you have anybody in particular that you feel like might be the next at least target? Because McCaslin's not leaving Tech. We already mentioned Buzz left. What do you think is next for them?
I think they go to Porter Moser at Oklahoma because he's an old assistant. He's a Bobby Baroni assistant in the 90s. He met his wife there. I think they go to Porter. He's the best basketball coach out there. He had the lowest NIL by 100, not even close, and he made the NCAA tournament. Think about this. He was dealing with an NIL budget that another team that he almost beat twice had $8 million. Actually, he beat the team, had $8 million more. So I think at the end of the day, they're going to make a smart decision. They'll try to go after Porter, and that would be my guess. All
right, so if you don't mind me following up with that, is that you mentioned the NIL difference, which, again, it can be staggering. He was a hot name when Oklahoma hired him, but you get involved in these jobs, especially someone like A&M, where they want to make a splash, and yet the Eagles want to make even a bigger splash, but is it the right fit? How do you sell him to the A&M donors and boosters?
Well, first off, he's not a propaganda guy, okay? He's a real guy. He's not going to send a message out there that's disingenuous. He's a real genuine guy. He would fit in. He's recruited Texas for 30 years. Scott Shoemaker at Blinn loves him, right? Jimmy Sagona at Collin County loves him. He's the most loved guy in the junior college world. There's not a more loved high major head coach in the junior college world. Okay, maybe Chris Jans at Mississippi State. Maybe Chris Jans. Okay, Porter is adored. He's loved. And I think sometimes you got to get out of your own way. If I put his resume up and we took his name off it and we put it up against other guys, he's a Final Four head coach. He's a Sweet 16 head coach. All right? He got absolutely the team that got screwed the worst in the history of the NCAA. The only reason they did not put Oklahoma in and they put Virginia in 2 years ago was in the second round they would have played Texas. Okay? It was Colorado State versus Virginia. It should have been Colorado State versus Oklahoma. And the guy on the committee said we were at a loss. We didn't know what to do. They would have had to blow up the bracket. So I think we're misconstruing, is he a hot name? He's a hot name if he has a good marketer. That's what I think.
You mentioned Scott Shoemaker, who I've known for, I think, close to 30 years when he was a coach at Kilgore College. He's been around. Now you said at Blinn. There's a picture. I have it. We just put it up, the one that you sent me, of you and Scott when you were in that postseason tournament on the beach in Florida somewhere. I'm so glad you brought him up because that gave me a chance to put that picture up. I like him a lot.
He's one of the best guys in our business. He's a junior college legend. He's a Hall of Famer. USA Basketball had him come in. Blinn College is lucky to have him. He's a special coach. He cares about the kids. He does it the right way. Look, he's got big-time players every year. And look, tying this in, I think Texas A&M's in a point where do you go for the ego hire or do you go for the right hire that can advance you to the tournament? So my advice or my vote is Porter Moser 100%.
Okay. Paul, anything else for John?
Nope.
So enjoy it. Is this just like a huge cocktail party for the next 4 days in San Antonio or 3 days?
I'm flying back right now. I got to build 9 teepee tents for my 9-year-old daughter birthday party tomorrow. I'm on the 6:30 flight on Delta. I came for the head coaches meeting at 10:30 this morning, which all discussed. We need Mark Few this Tuesday goes in front of the Senate House Committee with Ted Cruz. We need Mark Few to really get things done, to get structured. The biggest thing we got going in college basketball is Mark Few's meeting, actually college athletics, Mark Few meeting in front of Ted Cruz and the Senate House Committee, and we got to get Fewy in front of Donald Trump. The only way we get this done.
Otherwise, it just keeps becoming just crazy as it is as ever before.
And I was with Fewy for 1 hour. He's the only guy that can get in front of Trump. We need him in front of Trump because we can get an executive order to try to get some structure. Because if not, we're going to keep having lawsuits. We're going to keep having running around.
Can that happen?
We need some structure.
Yeah, John, but can that, and the House settlement thing is coming up on Monday too, and some coaches have even the biggest of schools like Kirby Smart, like they're not sure really still what the rules are. Chris Kleiman, the football coach at K-State, saying he doesn't even know whether or not he can, if a kid gets hurt, can he be a part of the 105-man scholarship? So it's across the board. So are coaches, even those who thrive in this particular environment, are they themselves still wanting structure, or are they fine?
I think everybody wants structure, but at the end of the day, would you rather, it's the old Irish saying when you go into the Irish neighborhood, would you rather ask for permission or ask for forgiveness? Okay? Right now, you can't ask anybody for permission. You just got to go. Because at the end of the day, there is no rules. And at the end of the day, Mark Few is the only coach, and I actually think it's Nick Saban and Mark Few. They're the two guys that can get in front of Donald Trump and try to get an executive order to get some structure. We have to save college athletics.
Thank you, buddy. Enjoy your trip. Have fun building those teepees and also enjoying the birthday of your daughter this weekend. We appreciate you. I know you're busy. Manhattan basketball coach John Gallagher.